Okay, here we go. Number 5 of the day. We're getting knee deep here. And we're going with a beer from the Doug's Pollocks Brewery. The second one of the beer mail that Johnny Pollock sent to me. This is Tropic Thunder. It's a 4.9% APA made in November 2021. So, smells very hoppy. Smells a little bit green as well, to be perfectly honest. No qualms in pouring that one in a water. I know for a fact that JP always bottles off the keg. So, we have an American Pale. That really doesn't do the colour justice. Hang on, I need to sort this one out. So here we go. There you go, look at that. Gorgeous. Golden beer. Quite clear. Looking very nice, I have to say. Got to turn my phone light off now because that's just annoying as fuck. So here we go. It's a pale. It's quite clear actually. I'm getting a lot of clarity from this beer. It's not like 100%, but it definitely looks like somebody spent some money on gelatin. Hop wise, it smells very green. It smells like a lot of hops in it. Flavor wise, I'm getting biscuit. I'm getting that malt tinge. Getting that right now. I'm getting some floral notes from the hops. I'm getting a little acidic note, almost grapefruity, that kind of thing. I'm getting, I'll be honest, I'm not getting a lot. It's probably too cold, or my palate just needs to acclimatize. I'm getting something that tastes quite piney, almost resinous. Something a little. If I didn't know for a fact that this was made by Johnny Pollock, I would say something that tastes almost like Chinook. That kind of piney, resinous kind of flavour that's coming through. I'm not getting much in the way of fruit just yet. I'm getting fruit now. I'm getting grapefruit. But I'm just getting an overriding pine kind of flavour. Pine and kind of floral, not really fruity, not really anything like that. It's not a particularly heavy beer, although it does have some weight behind it. I'm getting biscuit. I'm getting almost, I want to say some sort of crystal malt, some kind of, I don't know. I want to say caramel, but it's not quite caramel. Getting a sweetness coming through from that. I'm getting peach. I'm getting stony peach. I want to say almond, but if I was saying almond, I'd probably be getting cyanide, so it's probably not almond. But there's definitely something which is very much... I'm getting a lot of pine. I'm getting a fair bit of resin. I'm getting floral. I'm getting peach. That peachy stone fruit kind of flavour. Right on the exhale, right at the back of my mouth, I'm getting... I feel like I'm getting apricot. There's probably citra in this beer, because I'm definitely feeling grapefruit. I'm definitely feeling that citrus. It's not massively pronounced, so I don't think this was a really, really heavily hopped beer. But I'm feeling... For me, the caramel is almost a little overwhelming. It's kind of overriding the hops. I'm having to really search for the hops. But there's no off flavours. There's no sulphur. There's definitely no diacetyl. I don't know whether it's the hops or whether there is a tinge of acetaldehyde in this. It might be the papaya flavour that I sometimes get from Citra, weirdly enough. But there's definitely something on the back end which is... It's quite sharp. It's a great beer though. But I'm definitely getting more caramel and pine and resin than I am and carbonation than anything else. I want to say the citra in this beer, but trying to identify the other one, it could possibly be Cascade, but at the same time it could be Chinook. I'm getting more of the pine and resin than I am anything else. It's quite a... It's a complicated yet simple flavour, but it's difficult to make out and kind of identify the individual components of this beer. I'll tell you something though, it's going down quite well. How's it going down for you boys on the video? Is it going down alright? Obviously I can't hear you, but it's one of them, isn't it? You don't really know which way this one's going. Yeah. Brett, the 2'6" little dwarf, is giving me the thumbs down and he's not even drinking it. I want to say there's definitely Citra in there, but I could be wrong. It could be Cascade. And I want to say there's something with a piney punch in it, which is why I'm leaning towards a Cascade. But at the same time, it totally could be just the way that the malts are interacting with everything else. It's a straightforward, no bullshit APA. It's not trying to be anything other than American Pale Ale. It's drinkable. It's nice. The yeast isn't coming through. It's not obtrusive, so I would probably guess it's US 05. But the way in which the beer has been put together, I think this beer has been designed more to be drunk than to be mind-blowing. It's a good APA. It's a brilliant example of the style of an APA. But without a recipe and without a reference point, I'm almost struggling to identify the hops. But I would say from the grapefruit character and from the papaya note that I'm getting, I would say Citra. I would say a possibility of something like Chinook or Cascade. But I can't really identify any of the other big hops. I'm not getting Vic Secret. I'm not getting the lime flavour that you get from the Antipodean hops. But having said that, it's an APA. I'm not really getting anything tropical. There may be a hint of pineapple in there, to be fair. There may be a hint of pineapple in there, but it's very faint. The bitterness is kind of overwhelming. It's almost masking the flavours from the hops. And I think that's where my palate is struggling to differentiate. It's a good beer. It's a great example of an APA. It's not trying to be anything else. It's not trying to be in your face. It's not trying to be a NEPA. The crossover point between an IPA and an APA is definitely being respected here. The alcohol's not in your face, but the overriding bitterness is playing havoc with my palate. It's making it really difficult for me to identify things. I'm not a big fan of hugely bitter beers, but this one's sitting on my tongue and it's coating, and it's rather difficult for me to understand what's going off. I'm struggling with this one. With a recipe, I could probably, you know, say, oh yeah, I agree with that, I can see that, but judging this one blind is quite difficult. Great example of an APA. Colour wise, it's bang on. Flavour, bitterness, it's there. For me personally though, I'm struggling to identify what's in there. It's a complicated, muddled flavour profile that my tongue from many years of vaping and smoking has probably lost the ability to identify. So whilst I appreciate that it's, you know, it's one of those beers that a lot of people will go, oh, that's a classic example of an APA, it's difficult for me to appreciate what's actually in there. But I would say Citra, possibly Cascade, maybe Chinook. And if there's pineapple in there, I would say Brew 1, Azaka, El Dorado, that kind of area. But I'm struggling with this one. It's difficult. It's not unpleasant, but it's rather bitter, and it's probably a bit too bitter for my palate, to be fair. So, thanks very much for sending it, JP. It's a clear beer, and it's a good colour. Good malt on the backbone. I'm getting the biscuit, I'm getting the caramel. But I'm really struggling to identify those hops. I would probably need a pint of water in about 20 minutes. And I'm not going to do a beer review for more than 13-14 minutes. So, yeah, it's a good one. But, I don't know, it's probably a bit too bitter for my palate. But thank you very much for sending it to me. I appreciate it. I've got one more of yours to do, which is the cider. I'm now going to go back into the Facebook chat room and see what all the other guys are about, and they're going to tell me what it is that I've missed. But it is rather bitter for me. So thanks for sending it. I appreciate it. Episode 7, 8, whatever we're at currently, in the bag. I think it's 8, this one. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good new year, and I'll see you boys soon.